You are praying every single day. You are trying to be a good person. You are not hurting anyone. You are doing everything right. And yet, life keeps hitting you again and again and again. And somewhere in the silence of your hardest nights, you have asked a question that you were almost afraid to ask. Why Krishna? Why me? Why are you testing the very people who love you the most? I am going to answer that question today. And by the end of this video, you will not just understand the answer. You will be grateful for every test Krishna has ever sent you. Welcome to OKK. Only Krishna knows. If you are new here, this channel exists for one reason: to bring you the peace, the strength, and the answers that only Krishna's wisdom can give. Every video on this channel is a message, not from me, but through me. Today's message may be the most important one I have ever shared, because the question we are answering today, why does Krishna test the people he loves the most, is a question that sits inside the heart of almost every devotee. Maybe you have lost something recently. Maybe you are going through a situation right now that you did not deserve. Maybe you have been faithful for years and you are wondering why faithfulness seems to bring more pain than peace. I want you to stay with me for the next 10 minutes, because by the end of this, everything will look different. Let me take you to Vrindavan, to a small home, to a mother named Yashoda. Now, Yashoda was not a warrior. She was not a scholar. She had no great title. She was simply a woman who loved Krishna more than her own life. And Krishna, as a small child, chose her. Out of all the mothers in all the worlds, he chose to be born into her arms, to drink her milk, to sleep in her lap, to be raised by her hands. But one day, Yashoda saw something that changed everything. Little Krishna was playing with the other children, and one of them ran to Yashoda and said, "Mother, Krishna has eaten mud." Yashoda ran to Krishna and demanded he open his mouth. And what she saw inside that small mouth stopped her breath completely. She saw the entire universe, the sky, the stars, the oceans, the mountains, every world, every life, every soul, everything that has ever existed inside the mouth of her little boy. And for one moment, she understood. This child she had been feeding and bathing and scolding was God himself. And then Krishna closed his mouth, and Yashoda forgot. Krishna took the vision away. He made her forget what she had seen, and she went back to being his mother, back to loving him simply, back to holding him and scolding him and crying for him. Why? Why did Krishna make her forget the very truth she had just seen? Because Krishna did not want Yashoda's love to become worship. He wanted it to stay real. He wanted a mother's love, not a devotee's awe. The test, the forgetting, the not knowing was not a punishment. It was how Krishna preserved the most sacred relationship he had ever known. The Bhagavad Gita gives us the framework to understand this. Krishna tells Arjuna in chapter 18, "Fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, worship me, bow down to me. So shall you come to me. I promise you truly, for you are dear to me." Read those words carefully. For you are dear to me. Krishna does not test strangers. He does not send fire to people he does not care about. A teacher gives the hardest examination only to the student he believes is ready for the next level. A goldsmith puts only the finest gold into the furnace, because ordinary metal is not worth the effort. And then in chapter 12, Krishna says, "Those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Notice he says I carry, not I watch, not I observe, not I wait. I carry. When you are in the test, Krishna is not sitting at a distance grading your performance. He is inside the test with you. He is the strength in your legs when you feel like collapsing. He is the breath in your lungs when you feel like you cannot go on. The test and the teacher come together. You are never tested alone. Reason 1. He is separating you from what was holding you back. Think about a tree in a storm. The branches that are dead, that were already weak, those are the first to fall. The storm does not create the weakness. It only reveals it. And once those dead branches fall, the tree can finally put all of its energy into growing upward. Whatever Krishna is removing from your life right now, a job, a relationship, a plan, a person, it was the dead branch. It was what was consuming your energy without feeding your growth. The storm is not an attack. It is pruning. Pruning means cutting. A gardener takes his scissors and deliberately cuts away the branches of a plant that are dead or weak. It looks painful. It looks harsh. But he does it with love. Because he knows that when those dead parts are removed, every drop of water, every ray of sunlight, every bit of the plant's energy goes only into what is alive, into what is growing, into what will one day flower. That is exactly what Krishna is doing when he removes things from your life. Reason 2. He is teaching you something you could not have learned any other way. Arjuna had trained for years. He had won 1,000 battles. He had learned from the greatest teachers alive. But the one lesson Krishna needed to give him, the Bhagavad Gita itself, could only be given in the middle of his deepest crisis. Not in a classroom, not in a palace, on a battlefield, with his bow on the ground, with tears on his face, with no answers left. Some wisdom can only be received when you are completely empty, when all your own solutions have failed, when you have nothing left but to listen. Krishna waits for that moment, not because he is cruel, but because it is the only moment you are truly ready. Reason 3. He is building something in you that comfort never could. A muscle only grows when it is under resistance. You cannot build strength without weight. You cannot build endurance without distance. And you cannot build the kind of unshakable faith that Krishna wants you to carry without fire. The people in this world who have a faith that cannot be moved, who can smile in the middle of disaster, who can pray with complete peace when everything is falling apart. None of them built that faith in easy seasons. They built it in exactly the kind of season you are in right now. Krishna is not making your life harder. He is making you stronger. Reason 4. He is protecting you from a future you cannot see. There is a story of a devotee who prayed every day for a specific thing. For years, he prayed for it, and Krishna never gave it. He was heartbroken, confused, angry. And then, years later, he discovered that the very thing he had been asking for would have destroyed him completely. The business that would have failed and taken everything. The relationship that would have broken him beyond repair. The path that looked perfect from where he stood, but led off a cliff. Krishna sees the whole road. You only see the next step. When he closes a door that you were desperately trying to open, he is not rejecting you. He is redirecting you away from something you could not see was dangerous, towards something you cannot yet see is magnificent. Reason 5. He is drawing you closer to him. This is the most beautiful reason of all. Think about it honestly. When life is easy, when money is flowing, and relationships are peaceful, and health is good, how often do you truly call on Krishna? With your full heart? With everything you have? But in the middle of the storm, in the middle of the test, when everything else has failed you, you call His name the way you have never called it before. You do not just pray, you surrender. You do not just chant, you mean it. The test brings you to the place where Krishna becomes not just someone you worship, but someone you need. And that need, that total, desperate, beautiful need, is exactly the space where the deepest relationship with Krishna is born. The test is not pushing you away from Him. It is pulling you toward Him, closer than you have ever been. There is an ancient tradition in India. When a master goldsmith wants to test the purity of gold, he does not leave it in the dark. He does not put it on a shelf. He places it directly into the flame. And as the fire burns, everything that is not gold falls away. The impurities, the dross, the false shine. And what remains, what the fire cannot touch, is the real gold. That is what you are. You are not the fear that a test creates. You are not the confusion or the pain or the doubt. Those are the impurities. Those are what the fire is burning away. What remains when the test is over, when you have held on to Krishna through everything, that is the real you. The you that Krishna saw when He chose you for this test. The you that is pure enough to hold the blessing He is preparing. Yashoda forgot what she saw in Krishna's mouth. But her love never faded. If anything, it deepened. Every time she called His name, every time she ran after Him, every time she held Him close without fully understanding who He truly was, she was loving God in the most perfect way possible. Not with knowledge, not with awe, but with her whole heart. That is what Krishna is asking of you right now. Not perfection, not answers, not strength you do not have. Just your whole heart. In the middle of the test. That is enough. That has always been enough. So the next time a test comes, and it will come, I want you to remember 3 things. First, you were chosen for this. Krishna does not test people. He has forgotten. He tests people He is preparing. Second, you are not alone in this. He is inside the fire with you, carrying what you cannot carry, holding what you cannot hold. And third, the test is not your story. It is the beginning of your testimony. Arjuna left that battlefield carrying the Gita. Yashoda raised the God of the universe in her own home. Prahlad survived every attempt to break him and watched his faith become a miracle. What are you going to carry out of this test? What is Krishna going to show the world through what He is building in you right now? Whatever it is, it will be worth every moment of the fire. Jai Shri Krishna. Before I go, I want to ask you the most important question of this video. What test are you going through right now? Not to share your pain with strangers, but because when you write it down, something shifts. When you name it, it stops controlling you. Type it in the comments. 1 sentence, 1 word if that is all you have. And this community will pray with you. Because that is what OKK is. Not just a channel, a family that believes in Krishna together. If this video touched something deep in you today, please like it and share it with one person you know who is in the middle of a test right now. They need this message more than you know. And if you are new to OKK, subscribe, because only Krishna knows what miracle he is already building for you inside the test you are currently in. Jai Shri Krishna.